Hola, ¿cómo está? I see that. How horrible is that? Let's see here. Oh, did she? Okay. All right. Now the question is going to be whether or not your and I's audio is streaming to YouTube's Backstage account. Be careful what you say, by the way, because you're. What's that? The other devil's advocates from Oregon? Is he still doing content? Is he still doing? Interesting. Emmy, we're gonna have. Is he gonna sue me? What? Hey, maybe he doesn't know me. Carol Lee's got her mic on mute, so we wouldn't hear her. Michelle, thanks for joining Discord. I need a sound. Emmy Gal, who's listening on the YouTube channel, do you hear the Discord people? Do you hear my wife at a minimum? Do you see the Discord channel? I think I know for sure you see the Discord channel. You see the camera where we can see a face in the lower corner. Hey, how you doing? In the lower corner of my screen. But can you hear? You do not hear the sound. Okay, I did share the application. You can hear our sound on the YouTube channel? Or are you hearing us because you're in Discord with me? Okay, so Emmy can't hear us for some reason in Discord. So that's interesting. Oh, hey, look, we're getting a part. It's get the party started. So Emmy can only hear me. She can't hear you. So that's interesting. So you can hear me probably in Discord, but maybe we're not hearing other people in Discord. So do I have some shit to figure out? Looks like I have some shit to figure out. Maybe. Why are you so far behind? Where the hell's your drink? Oh, oh, well, that's fair. I All right. Well, let's make sure it's not just Emmy. Yeah. All right. I have some work to do. Stand by. Yeah, that's a good question. Tab or stand by. Stand by. I might get this shit figured out. Hold on. Devil's advocates. No, we need devil's advocates. Motherfucker. Is it that one? No. Why? Why am I having such trouble? Chrome tab. Okay, hold on. Stand by. Let's go here. Let's try this. Continue to Discord. I don't want to go to the app. I want to go to the website. Oh, you sons of bitches. Why, you know, it seemed like we had this working just fine last week, didn't we? All right. Allow while Discord wants to use your microphone. Well, I don't think they need my microphone. I can hear you while I'm doing this for sure. I don't know what happened. What happened to you? Hello? Did I lose it? Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah? All right, hold on. Stand by. I think give me a minute. Yeah, Birdie did that for me. That was badass. Give me a second. I think.
They hear differently than us.
All right. Let's see.
I wish it did. It'd be cool to be able to hear that for a day.
Can YouTube hear us now on YouTube through
Maybe.
the stream?
Hey Lee,
How's
what
that?
are you doing?
How's y'all's new kitten?
How's who? What?
How's what?
How's y'all's new kitten?
Oh,
I've got a kitten.
we've got two kittens in there.
Didn't you?
Two
Or is
new
it a puppy?
Yeah, they're doing
That's what it
well.
was. How are they doing?
They're doing great. They're getting along really good. They're buddies now. The two girls, the older two girls, are still getting used to them.
Yes, Cheryl
They're
says.
Yeah, it's hard with the girls.
Yes, Cheryl.
That's
Can
good.
you hear both? Can you hear everybody in the chat, Cheryl?
This time when I brought Curtis and Fred from the shelter, I got him during COVID. He neither one of them liked that Curtis was here, but he immediately took to him and mothered him more than the female. The female, even now, wants nothing to do with him. She's better now because he's older. But yeah, I know that struggle.
All right. Cheryl, and unless
so Lee,
I
just... are you talking to us? I see you talking over on YouTube, but there's no out over here.
So now you can't hear me on the main channel?
You're muted.
Fuck.
Okay. I don't know if we're working over on YouTube. Let me go check. So keep talking, Kimberly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm gonna go check.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what y'all want me to talk about. You got a cat named Curtis Jack.
I don't know why I'm struggling so much tonight.
He is the whole damn problem.
All right. Well, I probably just screwed it up. I probably just screwed it. Well, yeah, but I think I might have just screwed it up so people can't hear it on Discord anymore. I mean on the YouTube channel. They can't hear Discord. Yeah.
Well, I'm on Discord and I can hear.
God, I feel like I'm just
Is it
making
the
a.
YouTube we don't know?
I'm making it soup. I'm making it
So
a mess.
confused.
I'm making it a mess. And just Amber says,
That
now
was
you're
funny.
louder.
She's like, "I'll go listen." Okay, okay, chat, and we're all totally silent.
Right, yeah.
I don't think Discord's working. I mean, I don't think YouTube's working again.
Yeah, I think I might have just fixed YouTube
Yeah.
just now, and now they might be back to this.
Well, I wish more people would talk on Discord. How many people are here? I'm not even on that screen anymore. I'm trying to do my nails too.
Well, we
So
got like 6
2,
in Discord, and we got like
3, 4, 5,
There's
6.
There's like
That's
6
well.
of us,
okay.
and only 3 talking for the most part.
Yes.
Cheryl says she can hear
That's what I'm here
everyone
for.
great. I think that means she can hear me as well. God damn it.
I just
Rebecca's
like to
talking.
jump in. Oh, yep, I keep jumping in. Hi, Rhonda.
Hi.
So have y'all seen the video of that Michael Dedea kid? The one that was with Luigi? He was his roommate at NBC?
I saw one of them. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They got in trouble,
Yeah.
and his attorney said, "You've got to stop posting shit."
Yeah.
And then so today he
Oh,
went
no.
on and he posted again. He posted again today on
Oh, did he?
Instagram.
Did he?
Oh.
Why was he in trouble?
He's adorable. I love that. Huh?
Yeah, he is cute. Why is he in trouble though?
I think his attorney told him that
Federal
they
gun
didn't want-
charges.
They didn't want him talking about the Luigi stuff.
That's what he's charged with. That's why he was there. He's out now.
I mean,
I guess he's on parole or he's waiting his court date. But yeah, he was in for federal gun charges, interstate trafficking. Love the internet. You can look
but he
anything
got in
up.
trouble. So he got in trouble for posting videos though about Luigi.
By his
Well,
attorney.
he
Is that what you said
he
earlier?
had done that one where he was like, yeah, he posted that one where he's like story time, and he was gonna like kind of post because I guess they're friends. Like maybe he still communicates with him, which would be awesome. Good for Lou. He needs a friend in there who understands prison. Because he had posted one that said like my attorney called and said I can't do this anymore, and then he posted another one today, not really talking about it, but let's see if I screenshotted it. But yeah, because apparently his attorneys was like you can't talk about it anymore. But then he posted something again today. Let me see if I took a video. I think I did a screenshot of it because I sent it to somebody and was laughing about it.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I guess we don't want anything to hurt Luigi's case.
Yeah, he
They're
posted
worried about.
yeah.
posted what looked like a text thread. And I don't know if it's a real text thread. I mean, it looks like a real text thread where he's talking to somebody, probably his mom, just talking about how he was getting a lot of messages and I don't know. But
Yeah, it seems
Is this
gray
the
area.
roommate from like him and a group of friends, or from the hostel?
No, this is a
no, this is a kid that they put him in a cell with him at MDC.
Oh,
I would clarify
okay.
that. Not in a cell, in the same unit.
He came through and
Yeah.
they were talking to him about, well, what gang are you with, or who are you affiliated with? And he's like, I don't have any affiliations. And he's like, well, what are you? And he's like, I'm Italian. And they said, we don't have any Italian. Wait, we're gonna put you with Luigi. And he was like, I thought they were busting my balls and it was a joke because what the fuck? And he goes, and they walked him down the hallway, and Luigi was standing in the hall and like was like, hey man, nice to meet you. And the kid said back, it's an honor to meet you. Which is pretty much what we were all thinking. So it's adorable. I watched the video. I was like, is this real? I started looking at it, and like it appeared to be real because it was on his actual page and his family members were commenting on it. It was funny. But yeah, so he made a friend in MDC. I'm so happy for him. That's what I was most worried about. So, but now he's out. So, I mean, there's that. So he's alone again. I'm sure he got a new roommate.
Yeah, I personally don't think Michael Day.
But he was like talking about how
roommate.
like they were together and all the shit they do together, like when they were in there, like when they would go to like get out of their cells and be able to socialize. It was just nice to know. It was very comforting, I thought.
I heard that Diddy doesn't like sharing the same area with Luigi. He's like jealous.
I heard that. Yeah,
my bed.
That was an
super
early
jealous.
statement, yeah.
But he's super jealous because everybody loves Luigi. Nobody wants to be around Diddy. I don't think they're even ever put in the same space together, are they?
I doubt it.
I mean,
Being so high profile, I would think they'd keep them separate as well. But yeah.
But yeah, I heard that too. That like in the beginning, like he was all butthurt because Luigi was getting all this mail and everybody was wanting to, and nothing was coming in for him. And I'm like, well, that's because you're a rapist. But and a trafficker, you piece of shit. I knew something was wrong with you in 1997. We didn't know what, but you had a bad fucking vibe.
To hear like
So-
the comedian, I think his name is Josh Jackson. He's like, I just want to share something with all you white people. We all knew that Diddy was a freak forever. It's just news to you.
Josh
And I was
Johnson.
like,
Yeah.
I was, huh?
Josh Johnson, yeah. Josh Johnson, with twists, yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
intelligent, so funny. I love the way he puts information in your brain with a side of funny, and then you forget that you're learning. And
Yeah, there's another guy. His Instagram name is It's Just Terrell, and he'll do like daily news updates, and they're great, and they're so fucking funny because he'll be like, you know what I'm talking about? He's just like, when the planes were falling out of the sky, he was like, God damn it, didn't I tell you all to shut the airports down? Like, he's a really funny guy too.
He's like, this wouldn't be happening if you would have listened to me.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, so I was like, when Diddy was big, I was a teenager. Like when Diddy was like, when he was still Puff Daddy and Mace was around and Eve and Rough Riders and everybody. Yeah. DMX and the crew. Cool.
Yes.
I was in high school, so that was like my shit. Like that was.
Yeah, same here. I remember, him being with Biggie and whatnot, and taking people under his wing. And I never understood why some people thought he was attractive. I always thought he had like not even a on the low or a hidden creeper, like an in your face creeper warning flashing bulb all the time. He just had a weirdness. And that was me as a kid, just not liking, I don't know, the way they portrayed him and he portrayed himself. I just always figured it was whatever persona. He just does not have enough no friends. Friends that know when to say no. And he's had no one tell him no and hold him to his own accountability for such a long time. It's absolutely no excuse. Whichever you want to point towards, that it's because he's affluent or this or that or people around him, he's been that way for a long, long time. There's a lot of enablers, or as the courts call it, co-conspirators, allegedly.
Well, one of the docs that was done on him, and I always felt, honestly, I always thought there was something off about him. I liked Mace, which was like his sidekick.
Yeah.
That he was for a while. I loved Mace. Huge Mace poster on my wall. I had. Yeah, I loved Mace, and more than Diddy. And there was something about him that I just never liked. And I mentioned to my mom one time when it all started happening. I'm like, I remember that. She's like, no, you didn't like him at all. She's like, I remember that. She goes, I was a Tupac girl, and then Tupac died. But I was a Pac girl, and my mom was like, no, you never liked Diddy. She's like, you say you didn't like his eyes, which is true because there's something off about the man, and I know he's cross-eyed, beady eyes, but there's still something seriously wrong with him. But yeah, but the special I was watching said that his childhood was severely fucked up. These freak offs, his mom used to do them in the house when he was a little boy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So like, yeah.
Yeah, there was one of the
documentaries.
documentaries.
I did hear too that his family, they were pretty powerful, like very, very powerful. very, and I didn't know all of these people personally. I just know, whatever loosely what we hear. But I mean, it was a different time back then. Different things ran the street. A lot of times it was violence and guns. And his dad.
Well, they said that even though they
very, very
portrayed he's from Harlem, he went to a really uppity private school. So it's a lot of it is I think he learned at a very young age the show mentality of it, like what you show people versus what you are, and he really, really grew into that. And it's really sad, but I mean,
yeah,
it's fucked up. I think that he was behind his wife's death, Kim Porter. I think he had something to do with that,
Right.
and no one will convince me otherwise. But I really think he had something to do with Kim Porter's death. When she first died, one of the first things I said, I was like, "Well, did Diddy kill her?" And a lot of people got mad. A lot of people I knew were like, "How could you say that?" And I'm like, "Well, get a bad vibe, man. I get a bad vibe." Isn't this
supposedly there's connection to Brittany Murphy because of the sicknesses and all the coincidence. That would be very
yeah, because Ashton Kutcher was all over this. He was always with Diddy, and then she dated him, and then the whole death thing, and it's another one of those things. Is she really commit to it? Did she really just die of an overdose, or did someone give her a hot shot and kill her of an overdose? And it's just one of those things. We'll never know. We'll get to heaven and ask to talk to Brittany Murphy, please. I haven't heard that doesn't.
I know that
years. That's part of.
I don't think Brittany had anything illegal in her system. Nothing illicit. I believe it was like cough syrup and antibiotics. I think, and supposedly it was being thrown around. Supposedly that it was like mold or something in the home, but it wasn't that.
Oh, okay.
And then her husband and her mom were like oddly close after her death, where it caused a lot of people for their eyes to question. And that people's death differently. But then her husband died like this, like I believe practically the same symptoms, and it's just got to be hard. You're not untouchable by anyone, no matter who you are. And Brittany Murphy, as far as I know, she was like a pretty good girl. She wasn't a crazy partier. She portrayed certain characters, but she was trying to live a very healthy life, as far as I had known or have ever heard. Well, but again, did not know her.
I don't remember anything bad. And you got to think, so she was popular when how old was I when Clueless came out? I was 19. So, it seems like I would have remembered, I guess. It was so different back then, though. 99, 2000s. We didn't follow people on social media like we do now. You know what I mean? So
we didn't
I don't
know
remember
this much.
Yeah,
unless they did an interview, we wouldn't know.
Or they did something really bad and whatever it was TMZ before it was TMZ. I can't remember what it was called. It wasn't Inside Edition. There was something else. There was something between Inside Edition and TMZ, but I can't remember what it was. Well, MTV News, but yeah. Kurt Loder.
Current Affair. A Current Affair. That was one. My mama used to watch that.
Yeah. Oh, I just messed my nails
up. So what is tonight's topic? What are we going to be speaking about?
Talk about normally, but nobody's here and I'm not drunk, so
test. I think you can hear me.
I usually just kind of whatever.
The things.
Cheryl, can you hear me? I think you guys can hear me on YouTube, but
yeah, I know. I'm talking about the live that he just ended on YouTube before. Didn't he have a regular show? And I wasn't sure if he had said he was going to talk about anything because I didn't make it to the earlier show.
No, not really. I mean, just that, like, nothing specific. We kind of just kind of shoot from the hip and go with whatever. A lot of times we'll talk about like some of the theories and the things that you can't really say on YouTube. Like, I hate Steve Gonzalez, and I'm very vocal about that. I am on YouTube anyways, but like, we just kind of like more voice our opinions or our theories, you know. And I don't want to say it's like a safer space, because it is a safe space, but like, you know what I mean? Where you don't like have to worry about the powers that be listening and shutting you down because you said, you know, that, like, what's the thing that always gets him in trouble? Bert
Gun.
Kopaka's involved, and I guess people like people come for him, and I still don't understand why. Being in the military, I understand that's great, but their PTSD is a thing, and they cannot help it. And if that's somehow involved, it shouldn't disgrace his memory at all. They've been through a lot, and if you've got PTSD, you've got it for a reason, and it's an illness. So why they shut him down every time they talk about Brent Kopaka, I do not know. But apparently that's the thing.
I'm definitely interested if he's going to come into the.
Yeah, normally he comes back. Like, I don't know what's up. I hope they're okay. Rhonda, are you still here? Apparently not.
I'm here. I just had to find the mute.
He's here.
I think Lee's
There
having
you go.
but he doesn't know that he is.
Oh, he doesn't realize it's not working?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
He's over on YouTube, and Cheryl's trying to help him, but I don't know.
Hello.
Who hears what?
Okay.
I give up.
No. Yeah, it happened. Yeah, she was asking kind of like what we talk about, and I was just saying, you know, kind of the stuff that maybe unpopular opinions that we can't share on YouTube because we could get in trouble or banned or whatever they do.
Test. Did anybody hear me?
Yes,
there you go.
Yes.
Hey, Lee, welcome back.
Oh my God, that's been painful.
What happened?
Nobody can hear you.
I told my browser to not use my microphone because I had Discord open on my desktop. And so, and then for the life of me, I couldn't get my microphone back because I'm streaming. It's hard to explain, but I had to basically go into the browser and tell the browser they can use my microphone again. And even right now, I don't know if I'm echoing and doubling for people on. It's a shit show. But I've been talking to you guys the whole time. I'm like, man, you guys don't give a shit what I say because you just talk all over the fuck over me. And apparently you guys haven't heard me the whole time.
I went in there and asked you, and you're like, other people are talking, so I'm not talking. I'm like,
I just figured I was an asshole, and you guys are like, I don't really give a fuck what Devil's Advocate says. I'm in the middle of a thing.
Well, yes, but we didn't. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. I'm just now getting all the chat alerts from the chat. I didn't even realize people were in the chat talking because I'm trying to do my nails. But there's people in the chat.
Mine too?
Oh, that motherfucker.
Oh my.
Well, no, I'm gluing them on because I go to the gym so much. I won't do acrylic to do dip anymore because I always break them off. I just buy the ones at like Walmart, and then I buy real glue and I file them and treat them like I was getting them done in the salon. They stay on about 3 weeks. They really do. I can keep them on. The thing is, I never know when I'm going to drop a weight on my hand and snap off a nail. Haven't done it in about a week.
I'm allergic.
Something happened because I came home and I had a whisper.
Oh, I was saying I'm allergic, so I have to just do regular polish. I can't do gel. I can't do acrylic.
Yeah, I can't paint my nails.
You would think I'm hammered with the way I'm looking right now.
I think you are.
I'm not hammered. I'm not even remotely. Well, okay. I'm not close to hammered, but it looks that way.
You were drinking during the other stream. Are you sure?
I
used to get like that. So drunk.
I know what hammered feels like, and this is not hammered. I'm still a ways away from that. And my wife wants me to stop drinking altogether. So there's that, you know.
Yeah. I do love alcohol. I'm not gonna lie.
Interacts with alcohol, so.
What can't I what?
Drink.
I enjoy it.
I said my medication interacts with the alcohol.
Yeah.
But I don't drink too much anymore.
I don't drink a lot myself. Like I used to drink
Oh.
like once every couple of months, but of course with the After Dark show, it just kind of seems a time to have a drink or two.
Right.
So
I
Oh my
don't drink
God,
either.
what
I'm currently drinking a cup of Earl Grey tea. It just makes me feel adult, so I can be silly.
well, shit.
I'm drinking. What is it called?
I am
It's caramelized pear tea.
I am lit. So what you're
Ooh,
saying is I'm on a live for After Hours adults only, and I'm the only MFer who's even having a drink.
At least the only one.
Yeah, I'm drinking a
who's talking
poppy
right
soda.
Fantastic. So I guess
I'm drinking a poppy soda because I had a kidney stone attack. So.
maybe somebody who's on mute is
Well,
having a
Lee,
drink
we
and they're
will.
just not telling me.
Well, that's what we were talking about. Is why don't more people come over to Discord? Invite more over. Have some drinkers join in with you.
You know, here's the
Us
thing.
ladies will keep
Why
up.
So Maureen Edwards on YouTube says that they're having some beers. So there's somebody for God's sake is joining me. No, here's the thing. Like I can't tell you the
And
number
they
of
can
people who
actually hear
say,
us over there.
yeah, they can hear us, I think. So I think a lot of people tell me, hey, that After Dark party sounds really cool. And yet it's hard to get people to come over. This is probably the biggest night we've had because normally it's like 5 of us, or no, not even that. Usually it's like 3 of us. So tonight we actually have like 8 of us.
Yeah.
So there's something. And we got like 8 on YouTube, which I think might not even be the same 8 people who are in Discord. So
Why are people talking? Why you said some people don't want to talk on Discord? Are people afraid that China's listening or something? What's the deal with people not wanting to talk on Discord?
I don't know. But you know,
So reasonably,
I think people I have noticed and
Tell
I've been doing this for a long time as far as like talking on social type things like chat rooms, and I find that a lot of people are terrified to take the microphone. It's just I don't know what it is, but people are just afraid to take the microphone. So there's that.
if you can walk into a bar and be
Yeah,
like,
I'm
"Hey
afraid
y'all, what's up?"
do the
You can
video,
talk
yeah.
on Discord. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. But that's okay.
Well, Lee, you
But
know,
maybe that's
people
just
can be very judgy, and you're good at speaking. And sometimes if any of us say one thing a little bit off, someone's going to jump on that one thing. But this is a safe area. We can pick on each other, or we can just let it slide if someone says something a little not correct, or we can veer back and say, "Oh wait, did you mean?" So I mean, a lot of people are scared of even being picked on, and we get that. And Lee, we do love you, support you.
I appreciate that. I feel like this is a weird question, but I'm still trying to figure out.
I can't hear you.
What? Go fuck yourself. What do you mean you can't hear me? Oh, come on. Now don't. she just shuts up.
I hear you.
All
Literally,
of
you're
our
cutting
boxes
out.
are
All I heard
lighting
was
up
something.
laughing.
Oh, are you dead serious? Are you dead serious right now? So you can't hear me?
Okay, boys, that's
Who are you
enough.
talking to?
That's it. I'm breaking. Go. Stop.
I'm at the. I don't know if people
You gotta
are
be nice
screwing
with him.
now or not.
Boy.
Anyways,
So Cheryl, I would
so
be
can you
happy
hear
to
me or
help.
no? Can you hear me or no? Is it breaking up? Hello? Am I breaking up a lot? Are you
No,
guys,
I can hear
You
you
did
now.
break
I just left the room. I had to break the cut.
are you guys collectively screwing with me by pretending like you can't hear a thing I'm saying? Oh, that's
No, I
amazing.
couldn't for a minute,
Okay.
but I left the room because I had to break up a cat fight. Now it's fine. Now I could hear you from my living room. You're fine.
All right.
LB, that's my title. I'm cantankerous. Just ask Lee.
God. Yeah. Anyways, what I'm trying to figure out, and I don't know if you guys, this is gonna sound, I'm afraid this will sound arrogant, but what I'm trying to find out is I've had several people approach me from other channels that say this: I don't understand why your channel is so small. You've got a really good thing going. You should be a lot bigger than you are. And yet I struggle to get fucking 20 people in a live to stay consistent. And then I go on with another guy who pulls in 700-800 people for his lives on a regular basis. So I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. Like, what am I doing wrong? Am I doing something wrong? Because I have people telling me I've got a good channel, but like just people aren't tuning in.
I don't understand
Yeah,
it
it'd be
either.
nice with some good feedback here.
It'd be nice. What?
Maybe you
Because-
can.
I was just saying it's a
Maybe
good
we
to
can
have some feedback.
help you. Yeah, feedback, absolutely. I was gonna say maybe you could find something that's like your little hook or something. I don't know exactly what. I'm not recommending anything in particular, but something that would be like, oh, devil's advocate, and this happens every show. You've already got the great platform. You've got the open and welcomeness there. You've got the interesting topic. And again, not saying that would be the only thing, but a lot of times a gimmick or something neat that you do, like, I mean, I know you do things with going on lives with other streamers as well, and that's awesome too. But if there's something we can find that's just you, and that, we can all brainstorm and try to help you out too. But I don't know if that is anything at all like you've been thinking of, or Rhonda, if that's anything you've thought of.
Well, it's
or if
The
that
only
makes
thing I
sense.
thought of, maybe does he need another case, another big case that he could talk about that might bring more people in?
I don't know.
Other than that, I don't know how to hook.
Yeah, I don't know.
What about polls?
Yeah, I don't know.
What about what?
When I look at some of the content providers that are doing way better than me, I don't see what they're doing differently, other than maybe they just have better appeal, or they look better, or I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. It's something that's just kind of like, and then part of me thinks, you know what? I'm a new channel. I've only been going heavy from February, so I don't know that I'm actually behind the schedule. Yeah. Like when I look at trends for other channels, I'm right on track. I just feel like. I feel like it's like, am I missing something, or am I just? I mean, statistically, I think I'm doing fine.
Maybe it's just because you're young. Maybe just.
I'm not young.
No, maybe, I mean your channel.
Yeah, the channel's young.
Channel is
no, you're an old bastard.
I'm an old bastard. Yeah. That's actually the number one thing I thought. That's the number one thing I thought would hold me back, is I'm old. People are like, I don't want to watch an old fuck talk to me. But there's people who are old who.
No, that's not true, because Bertrus is old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you older than Bertrus? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what his age is.
You are?
I don't know.
I don't think you are.
Do you know
how old
he is?
I don't think you're older than Bertrus. Which, who hasn't been posting a lot anyways? I have no idea.
Yeah. I heard he really disappointed people.
Chat, Lee?
Huh?
Are you looking at the chat? Because someone did give you an idea to maybe get your numbers going. They said you should get that Mikey kid from the MDC and bring him on the show.
Oh, the Michael
Blues roommate?
Dadia? Yeah.
And I'm totally down for that.
Of course, yeah, he says he's not supposed to talk about
Mikey, I'm totally here for that.
Yeah.
I know. It was a joke, but if we could get him to talk, that'd be fucking amazing. Because I'm down for that.
It's funny that you mentioned it.
That was one of the comments in the post in the
chat. So hear me out. Obviously I'm not female, but I feel like I can kind of tell what women find attractive. And I thought to myself about Michael Dadia that he actually looks like a better looking guy than Luigi. And then it leads to my question: if he is a better, like if you just stuck Luigi and Michael Dadia at a bar together, who's getting laid first? I would think Michael Dadia, actually. And yet Luigi's got all this attention from the women. And then I think to myself, again, is Luigi's appeal because of who he is in the press, or is it because he's naturally that good looking? Because I think Michael Dadia is probably a better looking guy than Luigi in some regards, but I don't know.
I think it's the persona.
I'll take this one. I think so. Here's the deal. Some girls like red flags. I love a red flag. I think that, and I've said this in the past, Luigi seems like a really sweet kid. But you want a good time, you're calling Mikey.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike, he's a huge red flag. I mean, honestly, neither one of them are really my type. Well, Mike Daddy is more so, but they're both kind of thin and lanky, and that's not my thing. I like, 6'4", 240, someone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, girls love a good red flag or someone who looks like the bad boy. And Luigi's definitely not the bad boy.
Right.
I mean, but Daddy, he looks like I don't think he is. He seems like a really sweet guy too. But yeah, the neck tattoos and the motorcycle videos and the pop wheelies down the street. I mean, it's hot.
Yeah.
I gotta go to Brooklyn, MDC to find somebody because apparently that's where all the hot guys are. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're great
Because
dating
the guys
material,
in
but,
Texas have a very specific attitude. I know, but would be for
yeah.
me because I'm into flag. I'm into red flags. That's my thing. Like, it's bad. It's a bad thing. I'm not proud of it, but like, this guy from Brooklyn. His name was actually Mikey, and he was in my phone as Mikey from Brooklyn. And they all he had that exact kind of like the attitude, the swagger, the confidence. That's what's hot, I think.
Yeah.
That's what I think it is, but I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Yep. Yeah, that's fair. Fair.
Yeah. Imagine having the choice, right? I sure wish Michelle could get up and talk with me because her comments are great.
Moonbeam says
Yeah.
Luigi might be the little boy in need of caring and nurturing, very feminine traits. I don't think most. It's odd because a lot of women love Luigi, but I don't think women in general like guys that need nurturing and mothering. Like, they don't want to be somebody's mother. But hey, there it is.
No, I don't think he needs mothering. I think he was traveling the world on his own. He's perfectly capable. He can do it. He's not my ex-fucking husband who had to call his mommy to ask how to make pasta. But I don't think it's that. I just think there is something, and it's probably the sweetness where, you kind of want to mother him maybe a little bit. Now, I'm old enough. Well, I'm not old enough to be his mom, but I'm close-ish, I guess. I'd had to have been pregnant in junior high. But, it's a weird, I think I told you this once before. It was a very weird push and pull on him because on one hand, after we saw him in the jumpsuit and I fell in love because he's a red flag when he's in a jumpsuit, I was very torn between, God damn it, he is hot and he's such a sweet kid. Look at that little baby over there. We need to help him.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of push and pull. I was so torn about a week. I used to talk to my people at my job about it. I'm like, I don't know how I feel. I don't know if I want to make him cookies or make him breakfast. I don't know. I can't decide. So
it's a tough thing.
Fine.
Luigi's case is a tough thing for me as far as a monetized channel on YouTube, because I can see how advertisers are not going to want to put their money behind any content creator who even remotely suggests that murder is justified in any way, shape, or form. There's a lot of people in the country who believe that Brian Thompson was just doing his job, and whoever shot him was completely a monster because they just killed an innocent man and father of two, and that's the narrative. And the advertisers aren't going to probably feel real comfortable putting advertising dollars on commercials behind a content provider that says, hey, maybe it's possible Luigi did it, and maybe we're missing the bigger picture. Is how freaking bad has healthcare gotten in the country that somebody is willing to kill somebody to try to make a change? And I just don't know that that's going to go well with with a monetized channel,
Yeah, I feel like they'll take any excuse to shut shit down. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, we're just gonna say what we feel and see what happens.
Yeah, I almost feel like, I get it. They don't want you profiting off of the murder, making money off your channel because Brian Thompson died.
Right.
But anybody could have done it. Same with Koberger. Anybody could have done it. It's just, to me, it's just censorship. That's just how I feel about it. Yeah. I just feel like it's censorship, and
so far we're doing fine. I've only been spanked a little bit by YouTube one time. So I feel like YouTube's been amazing. Like TikTok spanks the shit out of me, but YouTube has only remotely spanked me one time. And even when they spanked me, they didn't spank me bad. What they said was I did one video where I was addressing some people's comments that maybe Luigi Mangione, because he admitted to doing micro dosing of mushrooms, had some kind of psychotic break. And I basically said, we need to get better educated about psychedelics, because magic mushrooms does not cause a psychotic break, especially in microdosing. And I did it in a way that doesn't violate community guidelines at YouTube. And they said it was allowed for me to say it. But I got a little notice from YouTube saying, hey, advertisers will not advertise on a channel talking about this kind of content. So while what you did is not wrong for YouTube's community guidelines, your video is not qualified for advertisers. And so we're stopping advertising on your video. So it wasn't really like stop doing it. It was just like, hey, advertisers aren't going to put money behind it if you're going to talk about psilocybin. So, and I get that.
Is that demonetizing? Is that
it demonetized,
what demonetizing is?
It demonetized, right. So it demonetized that video. It didn't demonetize the channel.
Okay.
I can still do videos. It's just that I can't talk about psychedelics. Right. Even if I'm doing it for educational purposes, advertisers don't want to have nothing to do with psychedelics, even if you're just doing it for educational purposes. So you know, it is what it is.
It's one of the other channels I follow.
Yeah, it didn't hurt my monetization of the whole channel, just that one video.
Because I know that another one that I follow, Soft White Underbelly, he'll be talking to people that come back a lot, and he'll say, I don't make money off you. I'm demonetized for you because of some of the shit you say when we're in here. Yeah. Because Soft White Underbelly, you're telling stories. So there's a lot of talk about things that would get you deep. And I just figured that's what demonetized meant, but I didn't know. I wasn't sure. So that's what happened.
Yeah. I mean, technically, when someone says they're demonetized, they mean their entire channel no longer becomes eligible to receive any money from advertising. And I only had a video that was, and they didn't even really say that the video wouldn't ever have advertising. It just said that they were going to reduce or stop advertising. They didn't say it was necessarily a full stop. But anyways, when most people talk about being demonetized, they mean the entire channel has been like, this channel is too controversial and advertisers want no part of it. So, and I'm not there.
That's crazy. I don't know how he, I mean, I guess because of the sheer number of videos and the sheer amount of people maybe. But wow. Well,
and you got to think about, like, you know who gets away with anything that they want to fucking talk about, and that's Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan can talk about every controversial subject you ever want, and he won't get demonetized because his base is so huge. They're just like, well, fuck it, it's Joe Rogan. He can say whatever he wants.
Because
yeah,
I don't like that guy. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, but he's got a huge audience.
So what do you think about the guy? What's going on? What's going on with the guy that the one that they're saying killed his daughters? Did they find him?
No, I don't. Let's see. I'm going to do a quick search. You're talking about Travis Decker. Let's see. Travis Decker news. The search is still underway, so he's still on the run 3 hours ago. Travis Decker, mental decline.
I thought somebody said he was in a house somewhere.
So
I could have sworn I heard somebody say they knew where he was.
The last I heard, and it was a day or so ago, they hikers had spotted him on the trail. They believe. So hikers spotted somebody on the trail who purposely tried to avoid being seen by hikers and took off when they saw them. A helicopter spotted somebody running away from the helicopter, trying not to be spotted, and they believe that that is him. So they've indicated that they think they know exactly where he's at, that he's had multiple sightings by hikers who have been out on the trails and have seen somebody trying to avoid being seen, and that they know where he's at, and they're waiting for him to make one mistake. They basically said, we know where you're at, we're surrounded, and you're going to make a mistake, and we're going to eventually get you. So, just, hold tight, because he's going to make a mistake.
What state is he in?
Washington State.
Because you said he's in your backyard. So do y'all not carry up there? Will somebody just not shoot him? Because I live in Texas. They'd shoot you. If someone was running around down here in the woods and someone thought you killed your 3 little girls, so you just, sorry. I mean,
Well,
This
so
is Texas.
I
Shoot
mean,
your
yeah,
ass. Like,
yeah. I mean, Washington State and Oregon. So I'm in Oregon now. I grew up in Washington State. So, and I've got a friend in Wenatchee, which is right where this thing whole started, basically right next to Wenatchee and Leavenworth. But they're both open carry states. But I mean, most people, even in an open carry state, won't fire on somebody just because they think you did something. They would have to be really, really certain that that's the guy. And keep in mind, he's an Army Ranger who's been trained to kill, so you don't necessarily want to get into a gunfight with the guy unless you.
oh, he knows how to hide.
Right. So yeah. So it would be
Oh, I
super
didn't know that.
dangerous. Yeah, he's an Army Ranger and he's well trained. So I don't suspect when the police catch up with him that it's going to go well. It's probably going to be a shootout and it's probably going to be ugly. Unless he kills himself.
Yeah,
that's a possibility.
Probably.
Yeah. And because he's an Army Ranger, he's
Yeah,
used to living
I guess.
in the mountains. They said that he can survive on his own in the mountains for months. So of course it's getting, well, no, it's not getting winter. He's getting summer.
Yeah, I was
So yeah,
gonna
he's
say,
got a
if
long time he can hold
if he
out.
disappeared. Yeah. I mean, if he's the trained, I mean, I knew he was military. I didn't realize he was like Army Ranger military. So like, yeah, he could probably live up there, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Wow. That sucks. I don't know.
But yeah, it's a sad
You know,
story.
I don't care how bad it is.
And here's where it got interesting for me. The reason why I've been contemplating getting into the story is because I don't know if you heard how he allegedly killed his daughters, but he apparently, and I don't know if this is going to be bothersome for people, but he apparently zip tied their wrists and then suffocated them. Whether it was smothering them individually or putting bags on their head is not clear, but it wasn't a violent as in like beating or something that caused blood. And yet they found bloody handprints on the tail of his truck. His wallet was left in the truck. And so, and some early indications had said that the blood on the truck was animal blood, but now they're saying it's human blood. And so I was telling my wife, Rhonda, I said, what if he didn't actually intend to kill his daughters because he was homeless and he was probably living. What I understand is he was homeless at the time, and he picked up his daughters on a visitation. So he might have taken them to the camp where he was staying to hang out for the day and had no intention of doing ill harm. And then somebody that maybe he had a beef with at the park or whatever went sideways and ended up killing somebody. And then he decided to kill his daughters and go on the run because maybe they witnessed it or whatever. So I'm beginning to wonder now with this whole male blood that they found at the car. Did he kill somebody and did he snap, in a moment and then everything just went to shit on him and he went on the run and killed his kids, or were the kids the target from the beginning? I don't know, but that male DNA, the male blood that they found on the bumper makes me wonder that there's a story going here that we don't fully understand. So.
And I hate that because I've heard that similar, like, or that something happened and he snapped and he had a flashback and he has PTSD, and that is used to kill your children. It is not, and that's why I'm kind of in the camp of I don't give a fuck why you did it.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally how I feel about it. If he, again, one thing, the whole if he did it, but I mean, I hate to even say that because
and
I feel like he did, but
I want to make sure
the thing which you said, I've heard that.
Yeah,
I heard that. I heard them say, what if someone else came into the camp and did it? And we don't know. And that's the whole thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I hate that everything, I hate that I question everything the way I do here recently.
Yeah.
It's kind of bothersome for me. It kind of messes with my conscience because I do question everything now.
Yeah.
But, like,
yeah.
What if they were sitting there doing marshmallows and somebody came up
right
and did it? And for whatever reason, he was incapacitated. I mean, I don't want to fucking think about it. Right. I don't want to defend him because I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, and what I was going to say is I'm not if he killed his daughters, which it looks like he did, and that's what it looks like he did. If he killed his daughters, don't get me wrong, there's no excuse. Even if somebody else came into camp and he killed somebody because he snapped and he had an episode, I can't excuse killing your own children. Is there some kind of remote possibility that somebody else killed his kids? maybe, but I don't think that's the case. I think they've made a strong argument that he was suffering from PTSD and had mental problems, and that he was no longer going to counseling, and that he had stopped that. And so I think he was on the downward spiral. So I don't, and again, if he did kill his own daughters, which it looks like he did, there's no excuse for it. And so, yeah, I wouldn't try to explain, well, if somebody pushed him over the edge, that's their fault. That's not what I'm saying at all. Like, if he did kill his own daughters, I don't have an excuse for that,
There's no, I'm sorry. There's nothing. I don't care how bad it is. Take yourself out.
Yeah.
Take your fucking self out. Don't take out your kids. You're an innocent in general. Take yourself out.
To play devil's advocates, I don't know how that mental condition works. So to play devil's advocates, is it possible in his state of mind, is it possible that he thought his daughters were going to have some kind of horrible thing happen to them in the future, and that it was a mercy killing to smother them and take them out in a painless death, essentially, from his point of view, than to let them suffer some cruel future that's coming for them? And so in that regards, you can ask yourself, does a person get mentally to the point where they're like, look, I know this looks bad, but I'm doing them a kindness, because if they lived, it's going to be much worse for them. And so could you get to the point where you get so fucked up mentally that you view that killing your children is a mercy thing because you're saving them future pain? Possibly, but.
Yeah, no, I mean, and yeah, you're mentally ill.
Right.
For a mentally ill person. Yeah. Right. I mean, I could see that. I mean, I'm not saying I condone it, but I'm saying you're truly that mentally ill and that disturbed that you thought you were saving your children from, like that Lori Vallow chick that killed her like 9 and 11 and 17-year-old.
Yeah.
She did it because she thought the world was coming to an end, or they say she did it. That bitch. So I mean, but that's an insanity thing, and I fucking hate the world we live in. I don't even know anymore. Fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Here.
I get
it. Doesn't mean I'm going to do anything. Don't anyone be like, oh God, suicidal. No, I'm fucking not. I'm just saying I hate this fucking world we live in. It's just, and I hate that I question everything. Thanks, Lee. Now I question everything.
Hey, it's not my fault. It's not my fault.
I mean.
All right. Well, fair enough.
It's not, because I've always been always the one in the family that everybody jumps on a bandwagon. I'd be like, but really, is that really what happened? And people would get mad at me, so that's fine.
Yeah, it can be brutal when you ask too many questions, because people they like simple answers.
Can we talk about the subpoena thing with Dylan for a minute?
Sure.
About her refusing to come back.
I thought there was Bethany Funk that they said was refusing.
Oh, whichever one of them.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it was Bethany.
Can they do that? How can you do that legally? How does that work? Like, I was reading in the chat and people were like, oh, well, if you don't live in this state anymore, or if you claim you can't afford it, or this or that. I'm sorry. If the government calls you and goes, I need you to come to court, don't you have to take your happy ass to court? How does that work? Because we need Allie.
Right. Allie would be a great person to weigh into it. But in general, from what I understand, a subpoena is basically it's like a warrant, like for your arrest. Like it's kind of like that. It's like you're compelled to go to court and to appear. But there are conditions in which a person can say that it's an undue hardship or whatever, I think. And so you're right. I would love to get Allie's take on it, but I'm looking at it right now, looking it up and trying to find out exactly under what conditions you can avoid the subpoena. And so here's where some of the things that I see: improper service. If the subpoena wasn't delivered legally, i.e. not in person like it's required, you can avoid it. If it's an undue burden, and that's the one I was thinking about. If it's overly demanding, irrelevant, or harassing, so you've got nothing to say and they're making you come in and talk about it, but you're like, I've got nothing that you don't have already have, you can maybe make that argument. privilege if it seeks protected information, attorney-client or medical privilege, or jurisdictional issues. Now, that's the one that some people were saying was Bethany's using, is if you're being subpoenaed by a court that doesn't have legal authority over you. So if she lives in Florida now and they're telling her she needs to come back to Idaho, she might be able to say, sorry, I'm not in Idaho. You don't have any authority over me to bring me to Idaho. So that probably could be it. And that's what Cheryl is saying when she says jurisdiction. She
That's
thinks is
a
the real
bullshit
reason.
law because people would just move.
Right.
That's bullshit because people would just move.
If they want to avoid going to court, yes.
I mean, that is if that gets you out of shit, so fucking move across country.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, how many people are dead? 4 people are dead. I don't care if it causes you unneeded stress. 4 people are dead.
I have a feeling.
Get your ass back here. And these are your friends?
My personal.
These are your friends, and
right.
You're not willing to do that.
My personal guess is Bethany Funk doesn't really have anything to say. I think Dylan Mortensen is the one that knows what happened that night. I'm not sure Bethany. I'm not convinced Bethany knows what happened. I'm convinced Dylan does, but I'm not sure Bethany knows. And maybe that's why Bethany's like, I got nothing to offer. Like, I was in the basement. I literally didn't see anything. I'm not the one who saw the killer like Dylan did. I'm not the one who heard the screams like Dylan probably did. I'm not the one who did anything. I was in the basement. So I don't want to have any part of this because I don't know anything that happened. And so I could see how she might make that argument as well.
Or maybe she needs to go say that.
Yeah. Right.
Tell them that and then make the other one talk.
And this is why I say,
sorry. Like
I wouldn't be surprised.
The whole situation
pisses
me off.
I wouldn't be surprised that the defense is the one who wants Bethany Funk subpoenaed and come into court because they might, and this is going down the rabbit hole, but they might suspect that Dylan is lying about what she saw and what she heard that night. And they want to bring in Bethany on the stand and say, what exactly did Dylan tell you when she came downstairs? Because they want to put her on the stand and say, look, you need to under oath tell us what exactly did Dylan say and not say. How was she acting? Because we don't buy Dylan's story for nothing. And maybe Bethany doesn't want to testify about that. She's just like, leave me out of it. I don't want to have to like testify against Dylan because she knows damn well if they put her on the stand, she's got a decision to make. Does she lie and say and cover Dylan's story, or does she tell exactly what happened that night and what she saw Dylan do? And it's going to blow the fucking whole case wide open because she'd be like, well, Dylan came down and said she saw this, and they'd be like, well, that's never come out in public before. So I don't know that Bethany may be protecting Dylan by like, I don't want to have to tell you what Dylan said, so I'm just going to avoid going to court. But that's my thoughts.
I mean, I think that, sorry, I just scrolled and looking at something. Fuck, I lost my train of thought. I mean, hold on, give me a second. I definitely feel like because she's afraid Dylan's gonna come kill her next.
It's possible.
That's why she wants to be left
or
out.
whoever was involved in it, right? Or whoever was involved in it told her to shut the hell up about it.
Yeah, or we're gonna get you next, bitch. Watch out. Right. I'm sorry it took me so long to get to that thought process. I clicked on something and it totally just threw me off. But yeah.
I'm just curious.
So
one of the things I haven't been answered in the Idaho 4 case is it's apparently this is a state case versus Koberger. And here's what's interesting about that. Brian Koberger allegedly was going to school in Washington and went across state lines into Idaho right. So that should make it a federal case right there. So why is this not a federal case? He crossed state lines, according to the argument, from Washington state into Idaho, and that automatically makes it a federal case. So I'm trying to figure out why this is just a state case in the first place.
And why did that just occur to me today? I'm not going to lie. No lie. That just occurred to me today.
Yeah.
While I was working and I was listening, because I was watching your live from last night or listening to it because I've got a shit ton of work right now. I'm going to work all day tomorrow. And I was listening to it, and I was sitting there and I looked up and I was like, those are 2 fucking states.
Right.
How is this not federal? How is this not federal?
Well,
why not? Because even if
It's funny because the
If you
federal
live on the
government was
state
involved in the
line and you like, I have a
investigation.
friend that lives 30 minutes from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Huh?
I mean,
Again?
the FBI was involved in the investigation from damn near day one, but it's still not a federal case. So apparently, when I'm looking online while we're
That doesn't
talking
make any
live, crossing state lines in itself is not a precursor for a federal case. There are other things that have to happen, such as interstate commerce, drug trafficking across state lines, and stuff like that. Murder that occurred on federal land, for example. So just the act of, which is interesting because in the Luigi Mangione case, they're trying to basically argue that because Luigi Mangione used public transportation and went across state lines to go commit the murder, that makes it a federal case. And yet Brian Kohberger going across state lines doesn't make it a federal case. So it's kind of sketchy to me. Again, I'm not. Maybe that's why we need an attorney like Ali Benevento on to explain to us why this is a state case and not a federal case. So.
Yeah. So like what? So like if Luigi hadn't taken public transportation, it wouldn't be a big fucking deal. If Luigi had rode his e-bike or got his mom's car and made that drive, I mean, then it wouldn't be. That is, wow, that's a fucking gray area.
Their
That's
argument
ridiculous.
basically is that he was using the internet and other things to stalk Brian Thompson online, and then crossed state lines with intent to kill somebody in another state, and that kind of makes it all a federal case because he was stalking him on the internet using federal protected websites, and then using transportation and public transportation that is governed by state interstate commerce and stuff like that. And so they try to make that argument that because he came from one state to another state to commit a murder, that's a federal case. But again, then why doesn't that apply in Kohberger's case? Because he used a state highway to go from one state to another to commit a murder. And according to their own argument, it's very similar. According to their argument, he stalked the girls ahead of time. Supposedly he was stalking Maddie. So if he was stalking Maddie, then why does not all the same things apply that it does apply to Brian Thompson?
Exactly. That's what I was just about to say. I'm like, Kohberger was apparently, they say, on their Snapchat, liking their pictures, commenting on their pictures, creeping on their IG. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
Oh God, this world.
Just Amber asked a question, and I have to remember in my slightly intoxicated state. She says, do subpoenas from the federal grand jury mean that it went to a federal grand jury, but they didn't indict? That's a super interesting question. Did they convene a federal grand jury in the Kohberger case? And if that's the case, then yeah, that would indicate maybe a federal grand jury didn't indict, and that's why it stayed a. Let me see if I can do some research on that. I don't know if you were talking about the Luigi case, because the Luigi case did go before a federal grand jury, and federal grand jury did indict. But was a federal grand jury and convened for Kohberger or not? Let me look. Let's see. Yes, the federal government convened a federal grand jury in connection with the Kohberger case. However, they need to clarify some things. Federal prosecutors, the U.S. Attorney's Office, convened a federal grand jury and issued subpoenas that generated critical evidence, most notably leading to DNA results referenced in the probable cause affidavit for Kohberger's arrest. Kohberger's defense requested copies of the federal subpoenas. Federal grand juries can be used to gather evidence. However, the federal involvement here was strictly investigative. No federal charges were filed. Bottom line, the federal grand jury was used to help obtain key evidence like DNA that does not equate to a federal criminal charge. The criminal charge against Kohberger is still being prosecuted under Idaho state law in the Idaho court. So that's super fucking interesting. So they did convene a federal grand jury against Kohberger to weigh the evidence and decide whether or not it was worth going to trial on. But the federal government didn't actually proceed to trial, which makes you wonder. Amber had an amazing question. Did the federal grand jury not decide that there was good enough evidence to make it a federal case? That's super interesting.
That is interesting. And I hate that we can't get more about grand juries. I mean, I I don't like that they have to be secret. I feel like we're not go, but I mean, um,
And here's the thing to Cheryl. So Cheryl, I'm going to put a comment by Cheryl on YouTube. I don't
I
know if
don't
you're
know.
seeing the YouTube, but she says, I think the federal government can basically decide if they want to be a fed or state case. And to Cheryl's point, that what that means is, in my opinion, if you're thinking that through, one of the things they say about the federal government is the federal government hardly ever swings and misses. If the federal government prosecutes you, they know they've got you. They almost never go to trial on a case they don't think they can win. They don't know they can win. And so the argument can be asked then, if the federal government didn't prosecute the case, that means they're not sure they could have won the case. So they're letting the state do it. They're like, we don't want no part of having a loss. So the federal government doesn't want it because they don't think they can, they're not certain. They're not certain they could win it. That's almost an indicator that the federal government has agreed that they're not sure they could win the case. So they're like, yeah, we'll let the state do this one. Because if they had a slam dunk and they thought they had a slam dunk, they probably would have wanted all the credit. In fact, Howard Bloom's book, When the Night Comes Falling, indicates that the federal government wanted to have all the credit for the arrest. They didn't even include Moscow Police Department in knowing Brian Kohberger's name for the longest time because they wanted, according to Howard Bloom, they wanted the credit for basically catching the bad guy. And at some point, they decided they had to involve Moscow PD. So if all of that is true, follow the logic. If all of that's true, then what that means is the federal government at some point decided they don't have a slam dunk case, and they backed out and said, let the state try it because we're not certain this is going to be a slam dunk, which is also super interesting.
It is. My brain never went there, even though that whole the federal won't do it if they know unless they feel very, very confident of a win. I never even considered that. So wow.
Yeah, it's
That's
super
interesting,
weird.
and that would explain why the whole thing is super weird.
So then it makes you, by extension, it makes you wonder, is the case as good as they say it is? Because if the federal government didn't think it was slam dunk, then maybe it's not a slam dunk.
No, it's not. I mean, no, I don't think it's as good as they think it is. I think that it's like everything else these days. They want to change the narrative, and they want to twist the story and try to convince everybody what they want you to think. And no, I don't feel like I'll probably never get to serve on a jury my entire life because I can look at anything and come up with a reason why to go the other way with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because there's just too much. And like, I mean, okay, the jurors are supposed to be impartial and say we don't have any formed opinions, but I remember Allie saying on one of the lives, the jurors are smart.
Yeah.
They can see through the bullshit.
Yeah.
Even though she said, specifically we were talking about New York jurors.
Yeah.
She's like, they're going to see through the bullshit. Well, I'm sure in Idaho, I've never been there. I'm sure people are, also smart. And to be on a jury of this nature, they're not going to take some bumpkin. You know what I mean? They're going to have to have somebody who can understand she made the comment, it's got to be somebody who's at least got the mental capacity to understand blood, DNA, things of that nature. So,
my problem is,
I don't know.
My problem is I don't feel like, in my opinion, watching both these cases as closely as I have, and I hate to say this, but Ann Taylor is no Karen Agnifilo. She's not as good as Karen Agnifilo. So on the one hand, while I feel like the state's case against Kohberger is not fantastic, I feel like Ann Taylor could bumble her way into losing the case because she's just not super strong in the court. From what I see, Karen is kind of a badass in the courthouse, but I don't see the same thing from Anne. I see she sounds like she's bumbling her way through. She seems intimidated by the judge from time to time and backs down. She doesn't get her words right. I mean, I see a lot of like cringeworthy stuff like, God damn it, Anne, you can make a lot better case than you are. Like, please, for the love of God, get a different attorney on your side to do the actual presentation at court, because you're in trouble if you're the one making the primary case. That's my feeling, but.
Well, see, you say that, and I don't know anything about her. Okay, I don't know anything about her, but I was in a live earlier today, or I don't even know if it was a live. It probably wasn't a live. It was probably your old live or an old recording, and they were actually, and I want to say it was Birdie's because it's really that's the only one I watch, where they were like, she's a lot smarter than they give her credit for, and I don't know what they're basing this on.
Ann Taylor?
She's smarter than they give it credit for. Yeah, and that this whole bumbling thing is almost was more or less said during the live, and I can't remember who said it, but I know Sammy T Mafia was on there too.
Well, here
today, and who I've never seen before. I thought it was, I didn't know it was the girl. But they were saying that Taylor was better than people are giving her credit for. She knows what she's doing, and this is all part of the strategy.
I will.
And of
I
course,
will say,
I know nothing about her. I don't know.
I'll say this about Ann Taylor. I do think, yes, she's smarter than people realize, because one of the things I can see that Ann Taylor does extremely well, in my opinion, is that she leads people into making mistakes. So she'll say things, she'll change subject matter. So she'll get you to say something, and then she'll quickly change the subject matter to something else, and just and know that you've already perjured yourself, or you already put yourself in a screw, and she'll come back to it later. She'll be like, hey, by the way, when did you first hear about Brian Koberger's name? The 19th. Okay, was it the 19th? Yeah, it was the 19th. Okay, let's move on to this other thing. And then later on, she'll come back and, do you remember when you told me that it was the 19th? and she knows where she's going to hang him. But she doesn't give it to him all at one point. So she's really good at that. She'll get what she needs, and then she'll move on, making the person feel like they just dodged a bullet. And then she'll come back to it later and go, remember when you told me under oath this? Yeah, that's a problem. So she's good at that.
Can I tell you how bad I would love for her to get a hold of Dylan on the stand? Oh my God.
Yeah.
I would pee my pants. I would love her to get a hold of Dylan on the stand.
I can't even imagine that they're
She'd
going to
make
try to
Dylan
put
cry.
Dylan on the
I don't doubt
on
it
the
for a hot
stand.
minute.
Yeah. I will be stunned if they
I mean,
put Dylan
I
on
feel
the
like they
stand.
kind of have to.
I don't know. I think they're in deep shit if they put her on the stand.
They would rip her apart.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But I would love to see, I'm not saying they will, I'm saying I would love to see Ann Taylor rip into her ass, and just, because she wouldn't be able to handle it. She would end up crying. She might even have a moment and scream, I set her up because she's my boyfriend, or some shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is one of those things that if I could see somebody if I want to see something happen in court, I would love to see Ann Taylor cross-examine Dylan.
Yeah.
It's right up there with, I want to hear Luigi speak on his own behalf on court, and I want to be able to watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to see that, because I mean, Ann Taylor, and like I said, I know nothing about her, but when this is over, I hope she writes a book, because I will read it. I would love to read it. And I'm not a reader, but I would. But yeah, so that's just, I can't get over the whole trying to get out of testifying for your friends. That just freaks me out.
Yeah.
I'll never understand that.
Yeah.
You know?
True.
I mean,
and again,
I'm not, to me, it just shows.
Well, I think if if either one of them are trying to avoid going on the stand, they know that they're not going to hold up well under cross. In fact, it might not even be them who is really protesting. It could be the prosecution saying, I hope to God they don't put them up. We'd rather just have their stated statements that have already been made to the police be read, and not have them put under cross, because we know they're in trouble if they go under cross-examination.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what do you think about wrapping it up, people? Are we good?
Yeah, I think so. Are they televising Koberger?
Do
you know?
That's not certain. Last I heard, the court system has an overflow room that they were going to broadcast to a short circuit TV the next room over. And then I think the defense had asked, if you're going to go ahead and broadcast it to the next room over, why not just put it on the internet? And I thought Hippler was considering it, and I haven't heard a ruling.
I think that you and She Devil should take a trip and go.
I am 100% planning on being there for day one for
Go to
sure, and maybe a few days.
and
It really
report on
depends.
it.
Yeah.
Could you imagine, Lee, if you like did that and then at the end of the day did like what's there's a guy that reports on Diddy from afar, and
Yeah.
at the end of the day he does a live wrap up and he talks about everything that happened in court. You should do it, Lee.
I
Rent a
want,
motorhome and go do it.
I want to. Here's the thing. I want to, and I'm going to try to do everything I can to make that happen. But one, that it requires me to figure out if I can even get into the courtroom, because I don't know what the rules are, and and I don't mind waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning and standing in line for an 8 o'clock entrance. I'll even do that. But if I don't have any guarantee of getting into the courtroom, then it's a huge waste of time. And the other problem I have, just from a behind the scenes thing, is my wife and I are taking care of a dementia patient in our house, so both of us can't go. Somebody has to take care of her. So it really comes down to whether or not my wife is willing to take on all the duties by herself while I'm gone for a week, which is why I say I'm going to be there for day one. I'm almost certain, but how many days I can stay there really depends on my wife's ability and whether we can get coverage for care, because we're doing caregiving. So a lot of stuff needs to be worked out, but I am 100% planning on being there for day one if I can make it. So, and I plan on being there. And if it's televised, here's the other thing. If it is televised on the internet, I will be doing exactly what you said. If it's televised on the internet, I'll be watching all 8-hour-a-day testimony, and I will be doing a live recap of what my takeaways were from that day of testimony. I will do that for sure if they broadcast it.
If they broadcast it, I'll be watching it. Like,
Yeah.
I already, work from home. The days I don't, I'll just stream it on my phone.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
same. Okay, well, I'll let you go, like you said, but I keep asking it because I keep having brain farts about what it actually is going to be. So hopefully they broadcast it on the internet. That'd be amazing. All right. Well, y'all have a good night.
All right, everybody. Yeah, I'm going to take off before I get so loaded I can't speak anyways. And then I'll go watch some TV with the wife and call it a night. So thank you, everybody, for coming. As always, it's a good crowd, but it's a small crowd. Someday we're not going to have a small crowd. I feel it. Someday we're going to turn the table on this, and we're going to be a bigger channel, and we're going to have more rousing conversations. But as it is, you guys are awesome. Thank you guys for coming and participating and being part of the after show, and I will catch you next time.